We are so pleased to have with us today Dr. Elaine Lloyd. Who happens to be the second daughter of Dr. Odether Bennett. Dr. Lloyd.
Yes.
I've heard so many wonderful things about you, and you are beautiful and brilliant.
Thank you.
Just as we've been told.
Thank you.
And you are a nursing educator.
I am.
And so that is what we are going to focus on today.
Okay.
We'd like for you to share with us. First, briefly introduce yourself.
Okay, well, I am Dr. Elaine Lloyd, as the interviewer just asked, and I work for a local community college, and I've been a nurse since 1998, and I went from getting my associate's degree to my bachelor's degree to my master's degree, clinical nurse specialist, teaching certificate, PhD. Now, I can't say all of that without telling you where I came from. So where I came from is I went to the Detroit public school system. I was very bad growing up. I got kicked out of Cody High School, had to go to Redford High School. I dropped out of high school at the age of 17 and had a child, was on welfare, and I have problems with learning. So letting you know that if I started there and I'm here now, that if I can do it, you can do it.
What an awesome testimony.
Mm-hmm.
An awesome, powerful testimony.
Thank
and
you.
Surely there's no excuse
No.
for anyone else coming behind you
Right.
who might say, oh, that's just too hard.
Exactly.
Wow. Okay, so Dr. Lloyd,
Yes.
what was it that sparked your interest in the nursing field?
So as I stated before, I dropped out of high school. I had a child at 17. So I needed to make money. I wanted to be off welfare before she was able to talk. My reason for doing that is that I remember being in the grocery stores and hearing children say to their parents, when I get my food stamps, can we get this particular item? And I never wanted my daughter to be able to do that. So I wanted to find a career where I could make sure that I could provide the life that I was given, that I could provide that for her. So I decided to go to nursing school to get my associate's degree because it was a 2-year program, which took me 5 years because I was a single mom. But that afforded me the opportunity to give her the life that she deserved.
This is beautiful. This is really
Thank
empowering.
you. Thank you.
We haven't even gotten started.
I
good,
know.
and I'm really touched to hear that in spite of the obstacles, the challenges that you faced when you were in high school, you were determined that you were not going to let the mistakes hinder you and define who you would be in the future.
Exactly.
So this is amazing that you were focused enough and you knew that you wanted better for yourself.
Yes.
You wanted better for your child.
Exactly.
And you did whatever it took in order for that to happen.
Yes.
And I like how you explained it didn't all happen overnight. It was a process.
Yes.
You didn't start off as a nursing educator. There were steps involved. Can you tell us, before you became a nursing educator, what your career looked like?
Absolutely. When I graduated from with my associate's degree, I went to an inner city hospital, and I worked there as worked in the ICU, the intensive care unit. And being in the inner city hospital, I saw everything from gunshot wounds to the head to gunshot wounds to the stomach, legs amputated. I saw a lot of different things. And so I was there for about 5 years, and then I went into the cardiac cath lab where we do cardiac caths. We also do interventional radiology, electrophysiology. We do neuro as well. And I went there, and I was there from 2000 and I can't remember, but I know I just stopped in 2021. I've been a nurse since 1998. So all of my career has been about critical thinking. And so when I decided to further my career and get my doctorate degree, I was going to go for DNP. And DNP is a doctorate of nursing practice. And so one of my mentors, Dr. Sheffer, she said the way that I love to take care of patients and the way that I precept and my tips and tricks that I use in the teaching process, that she really encouraged me to go for my PhD, because then that would lay a foundation where I can come up with my own teaching methodology to help people learn the concepts of nursing, because they can be very rigorous, but help them understand them in a simple way.
Yes, that's where I was going next. Discuss with us, if you will, what are your innovative teaching methods, and how do you help students understand how complex nursing is and keep it fun and simple at the same time?
Okay, so actually I have self-published a book called Dr. E's Tips and Tricks. One of the things is that for people who are learning the heart or learning the brain, those are the two most intimidating things that we as nurses deal with, because without a brain and without a heart, we do not live. So what I do is I bring rap music into the classroom. I also come up with a lot of mnemonics. I also bring different props into the classroom, so then that way they can learn how to read EKGs, not only how to read them, but then what do we do about it when we see a patient that has a fatal rhythm. I do an unfolding case study to do a formative assessment to see if they understand the information before they take their test, because we don't want to do it after they take their test. I want to make sure they understand it prior to. Also, when they pass, I don't want them just to pass. I want them to be able to go into the clinical setting and actually help save patients' lives.
That makes a difference. It's one thing to know the information long enough to get an A on the test, like I did a lot in school. And then a month later, you're presented with that information and you don't know. You don't have a clue. So that is awesome that you're making sure that these students are prepared, that they have an understanding. So it definitely shows a strong commitment that you have on the student success.
Yes.
You're not successful if your students aren't successful.
That is correct.
So this focus on student success is awesome. And it's necessary.
Yes, it is. Okay, I also engaging the students in the classroom is very, very important. So oftentimes in the classroom, students don't want to answer questions because they're afraid that they're going to get them wrong. But I encourage them to answer the questions, because then I can assess if they know the answers. When they know the answers, I'll go and I give them either a fist bump, or I'll drop the mic when they get a concept, and they love when I do that. They get so excited. I've had students who've told me, like towards the end of the semester, when I give them a fist bump, they're like, "Oh, I finally got a fist bump. I knew I was aiming for a fist bump." It makes them work harder as well. And so I also am consulted from different universities to teach teachers how to teach. And so at one point I was consulted by a university, and I'm going to read something that an email that I got at the end of the semester. And so she says, "Great news. We went from 23 failing Med-Surg 1 after the first exam down to 15 after exam 2, and after yesterday's final, all passed except 2 people." So I came in 2 times to go over how to study and to give them tips and tricks on different material that they felt were very challenging to them. And so it went from 23 failing to only 2 failing during the semester. So just letting you know that these type of teaching methodologies, they work.
So tell me, do you have in your book here any testimonials maybe from some of your students that you've trained this far?
I do. So I have students who either text message me, email me, give me shout outs on social media, LinkedIn, about the way that I teach, because my students, they learn advanced cardiac life support, which is also known as ACLS. They learn that before they graduate from a ADN, which is an associate's degree nursing program. So one of the students, from a student testimonial, She still was a nurse, a student nurse, and she was in the last class before she graduated. And so she stated, as I was sitting looking at the monitor, the patient threw a PVC, then a run of PVCs. Then it turned into VTAC. She stated, is it real? Am I reading this right? It's going to stop. It's not stopping. It took me a second to actually internalize it was real. Being a nurse extern who was still learning, I couldn't quite get my wording out, and at that moment, but I knew it was bad and we needed to get in there. I kind of panicked, but I knew I had to say something. So I shouted the only thing that I could remember at the time, which was, we've got ghost holding hands. We need a crash cart. While my co-workers looked confused, they all immediately got up and grabbed the crash cart as I ran to check the pulse on my patient. I could not for the life of me remember what the rhythm was called at that moment, but I knew when I saw ghost holding hands, Dr. Lloyd said, check a pulse. After we ran our code and stabilized the patient, who was in fact in pulseless VTAC, my co-workers all laughed with me and said that they had no idea what I was talking about, but knew I meant something bad was happening. They all, however, now refer to VTAC as ghost holding hands and asked me about other fun ways to remember rhythms. Thanks, Dr. Lloyd.
Wow.
Yeah, so she saved a patient's life based on remembering ghost holding hands. And that is a fun way to learn how to recognize a fatal rhythm and what to do to help the patient.
Awesome. Now, also, I noticed on your jacket there, is it Nemus?
Yes. So my business is called Nemus. This is my logo. And Nemus stands for Nurse and Educator who mentors, uplifts, supports, and empowers. So in my business, I help students I also have my own business outside of me teaching for a local community college. But what I do, I help students pass NCLEX, whether it's for the LPN NCLEX or RN NCLEX. I also help with resumes and CV. I also edit papers. I also help with students learning how to pass the TEAS test to get into the nursing program. And so oftentimes when students come to me after they failed NCLEX the first time, their confidence is broken. With their confidence being broken, I empower them, because you can know all the material in the world, but if you don't have the confidence, you fail the test before you even sit down. So we sit and we work on the confidence. I empower them. I support them. I give them what they need to help them become confident, not only just to pass the test, but confident to stand in front of a doctor that has been a doctor for 20 or 30 years, or a nurse who has been a nurse for 20 or 30 years. If you know the rationale on why you're doing what you're doing and you're confident in it, the end result is making sure that we have positive healthcare outcomes for our patients.
Wow, you are truly an inspiring nursing educator and asset to the medical community.
Thank you.
Period.
Thank you.
Now, what about those medical students or those who are considering becoming medical students, but they think that the schedule is just way too demanding? They think about the 12 and 16-hour work days and double shifts that they hear about. And they hear about being stuck in nursing homes to work with, you know, people where there's not good structure. How do you advise them or encourage them to continue down that vein?
The one thing that I always tell people, if God put it in your heart to work in the healthcare field, that is what you need to do. I don't care. I've had people come back into the classroom who are 65 years old, and they're like, it never went away. I've been wanting to be a nurse since I was 13. Now I have the opportunity to become a nurse. I say go for it. The thing is that when you don't walk in your purpose, it's going to be that nag. It's going to be that nag, right? So what you want to do is still go for it. You can lay the pathway for what your destiny. So in the beginning, it may be hard, rigorous hours, but you're learning what you need to learn. So then that way you can go and you can reach back, and then you can teach those that are going to come and take your place. So I say go for it. Don't think about what's happening right then and there. Think about what the outcome is going to be.
So did I hear you correctly? You said at 65 years old, someone can walk into your office or into a facility and say, I've made up my mind. I want to be a nurse.
That's right. And then they go through all of the processes that they need to go through to get accepted into a nursing program, an accredited nursing program. And they come into the classroom and they sit down with 18-year-olds. And guess what? We have people from 18 to 65 who come in and they walk across that stage during graduation and go straight into the healthcare system and get a job.
That is absolutely amazing. So those older students,
yes,
are they embraced the way that the younger students are, or do you believe, based on what you've observed, that they feel like they are a part of the class, of the community? And do you have other methods of training in place, for maybe additional training or mentoring that they may need?
Yes, so in the classroom, in the beginning, sometimes students, they come in, especially when they're older, they feel like, because technology for me too, I get a little shaky with technology. But, with technology, that's one of the biggest things that they have problems with. However, like I tell them, I have a coworker who is a techno genius. She can do something in 30 seconds. It may take me 10 minutes to do it. But as long as it still gets done, it doesn't matter how fast it's done, as long as that it's done. And so that's why, too, after I teach for about an hour or two and they go to lunch, they come back, and then I ask them to judge the book by its cover, because usually we judge books by their cover. So when they judge me by my cover, I say, tell me what you think about me. And they're like, oh, you know your stuff, and you love to teach, you have a passion. And then after I run off all of my credentials, then I go back and let them know I did drop out of high school. I did go through a lot of different things. I was on welfare. I am dyslexic in certain ways, so I teach a different way. So the way that I teach, my dissertation was on teaching people through VARC. And VARC is using visual, auditory, reading, and kinesthetics to teach them complex content. The reason why I use that, because when we navigate the world, we don't just navigate the world through reading a book, right? When you're in nursing school, you just can't read a book and then just understand everything. So we navigate by visuals. We navigate through actually reading the EKG. I use storytelling, unfolding case studies to see if you understand the material. So instead of just reading from a PowerPoint, instead of them just reading the book and me telling them to go back and look at the book, I give them different ways to understand the material. I may have one person who's a reader. They love to have algorithms. Another person remembers something through pictures. Another person remembers something through the story that I told. Another person may remember something from a video that I show from YouTube. So what we need to do as educators is amalgamate a lot of different things together to make sure that we are able to teach each learner in the classroom, no matter which way they learn. We've touched on every part of a way that they can learn the material.
You are absolutely phenomenal.
Thank you.
And I'd like to ask, how much of that comes from your mother, Dr. Odetta Bennett?
Oh my goodness. Well, growing up with my mom, we could only watch 1 hour of TV. We had to read. And we had to learn an instrument. I was in ballet and tap dance. My brothers were in karate. So we all had to learn something different. Also with communication, that's one of the things people are like, you should have been a counselor. All my friends call me for different things. My students come in, they talk to me about different things. But when we sat down at the dinner table at 6 o'clock, if she asked us, what was our day like at school? And we said, oh, it was fine. She's like, well, what is fine? Tell me what that means. We had to explain ourselves. So I think she actually prepared me for nursing, because with nursing, you can't just do something without knowing why you're doing it. What is the rationale behind it? So you have to back it up with evidence. So she taught me that at an early age, and that's the way I think about everything. That's the way I navigate through the world.
That is absolutely astounding.
Thank you.
I applaud her for raising such an influential. This is we see on Facebook all the time where people call themselves influencers. No, you are truly an influencer.
Thank you. I appreciate
And you
that.
are a blessing, again, not just to the nursing community, but I'm certain after talking to you, to all those who come in contact with you. And so we truly appreciate you being here.
Thank you.
For sharing that knowledge, for empowering those who needed some guidance, who needed some hope.
Yes.
Your testimony truly was not just for you.
Right.
We overcome so that others know that they too can make it.
And that is so true. And that's the one thing that I wrote in my my thank you in my dissertation is to God, because for the first 5 years, it took me 8 years to finish my PhD. For the first 5 years, I thought it was for me. But as I kept going, then God was like, no, it's for other people. I've had so many people who are of color to walk up to me and say thank you. And I'm like, thanks for what? And it's like, I've never had a black doctor to teach me. And I'm like, wow. So it was not for me. It's for other people. And also for me to be able to, for him to be able to bring me through what I've been through. And my life is a lot more to it, but to bring me through what I went through in my life and to be where I am today. At first I used to be afraid and ashamed to share my testimony. And now I share my testimony very openly, and people can't believe it, because when I tell them some of the things that I've been through, they're like, wow, they don't understand. But guess what? They're like, well, you know what? If you can do it, then I can do it. So that's why I'm saying that with the way that I teach and what my business is always about empowering and uplifting. And so if you want to ever reach out to me, you can contact me on my website, which is NEMUSE8.com, or you can email me at NEMUSE8@gmail.com.
Thank you again for your time today, Dr. Elaine Lloyd. It was
welcome.
truly inspiring, enlightening, and I'm sure that you're going to have a lot of followers, a whole lot more after this interview.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, and continue to be blessed.
Thank you so much.
It was a pleasure to have you here.
It was a pleasure to be here. So I mentioned my mom and the structure that she had for us as growing up as children, and here she is. She has joined me to talk about her journey and the different things that she has endured with going to school and obtaining her PhD. So we both have our PhDs, and we both worked very hard to get them, and we didn't stop. Of course, there was plenty of times that we wanted to stop, but we didn't stop. And she's going to explain what she went through to get where she is today.
And as we are talking, and as we remember our experiences, we have similar experiences.
Yes.
Now, for example, for me, when I was growing up in grade school and part of high school, I had a hard time taking tests. That was, I failed a lot of tests, and my grades were, when I was in grade school, my grades were C's, D's, and sometimes E's, but it couldn't stop me from doing what I wanted to do. One thing that I have to mention is my grandmother was the one who instilled the foundation in me that I could do anything that I want to do, but I had to work, I had to focus, I have to put in efforts. I can't just say I want to earn our doctorate degree and it just fall out of the sky, but we have to work for it. And I know with you, Elaine, you talked about some of the challenges that you had with writing, and I had the same challenge with writing, but we did it.
Yes.
Here we are.
Yeah.
We're saying to you out there that you can do the same thing. Also, we know that support is needed. Like for me, again, my grandmother was supportive, and I hope I was supportive to you in earning your degrees. And now You are the nurse and the teacher,
Mm-hmm.
and helping students pass tests and help them to save lives.
Yes.
And that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
You know. So I'm glad to be your mom.
Thank you for the foundation.
Yes, yes, yes. Well, I know you have big plans for the future.
Yes.
And doing some great things in the community with people and young people who are going into nursing. I tell people about you, and I tell people about your book that you talked about earlier. So we have to make sure that we're out there, that we bring somebody up.
That's right.
We want them to reach higher, and that's the name of my book.
Okay.
It is The Audacity to Dream Big and Reach Higher, from the cotton fields to a PhD. And you can do it too. Whatever your dreams, you can do it. And we are encouraging them, aren't we?
Yes, we are.
Yeah.
We are.
Yeah, we can do it.